All right. So we got Josh and Mike and Ben with Neo Home Loans. Again, we're good. They've integrated as a repeat training for a good reason for our team. They really share a lot of stuff. So if you haven't been on any of the trainings before with Josh and the team, you're in for a treat. They're actually sponsoring a broker meet and greet for us on Thursday at my office in Draper at noon, which I'm excited to meet Ben and Mike in person. Josh won't be there, so all of you come out for that. We're going to meet our broker, Kristen Perkins, meet these guys in person, talk a little bit about the trainings they've been doing and what's coming up. And we're excited for the relationship we have with them. And Josh, I believe you have a lead tonight. So I'm just going to make sure screen share's open if you got that, and turn it over to you, my friend.
All right. Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate the introduction. And there's lots of new faces tonight. So excited to share some of this information, probably for the first time for many of you. And I'm going to kick off. Ben's going to interject in the beginning, and then Mike's going to bring us home. When I was talking to Jeff the other day and said, you know, what do you want to hear? We've talked a lot about market movements and fluctuation and how to educate your buyers. You know, one of my big core beliefs is that we should know enough as real estate and mortgage professionals, not just to explain what's happening in the real estate world and what's happening with interest rates, but why it's happening. And so I've done a bunch of trainings on that previously. Jeff has those recorded. If you didn't hear those previous trainings on why the market is as insane as it is and why we have the inventory challenges and the multiple offer situations, I'd encourage you to, we'll touch super briefly on that, but I'd encourage you to watch those trainings because I think it'll just help you sell more houses and have more interesting conversations and position yourself as an expert. But tonight we are going to talk about specifically, let me just make sure I share sound too, because we're going to play a little video at some point. Tonight we're going to talk specifically about lead generation and conversion strategies. Ben and I are actually going to take the lead generation part, and we're going to turn it over to Mike for the conversion strategies. You could imagine with his wicked sense of humor, he's a pretty good at conversion. So once he starts talking to a client, they're hard to get away from his sense of humor. And just to kind of frame this up, team, we generate about 15,000 online leads a year. Now that I don't mean buy 15,000 online leads, we generate 15,000 online leads. We do that from writing articles, creating social media posts, which I'll show you one of those tonight. We do a lot of campaigns for our past clients. We create spheres of influence. You know, if you get the email list for your kid's soccer team, that should become a part of your sphere of influence. And we're going to teach you some tactics on how to create some leads from those folks. And then we're going to get into, great, now we've helped you generate leads. How do we convert those at a really high percentage rate? So Jeff, I just want to confirm you can see my screen, right, bud? Okay, thumbs up. Thank you very much. Perfect. Okay, so let's see. It's not. There we go. Okay, now it's working. So your database and your circle of influence are this is a new word I'm trying out this week. They're a cornucopia of business opportunities if you know how to position yourself as the solution to their problems. So one of the great marketing gurus that I listen to, his name is Donald Miller. And he wrote a great marketing book called Building a Story Brand. And what he's talking about is a company that tells a story. And in his marketing training, he says, you know, if you want to differentiate yourself from every other marketer in the world, stop talking about yourself and start talking about the buyer's problems. Because if you can show empathy for their problems in your marketing, you cut through the rest of the marketing noise in the market like a knife. And they go, hey, that's me. They're talking to me. I have those problems. So if we can identify what our buyers or clients or prospects problems are, we can start talking about them, showing them empathy, and then showing authority on how we can help them overcome those problems. That's the way to generate leads. That's the way to get people to raise their hands and to say, hey, that's my problem too. And if you have a solution to it, I want to listen to you. I want you to be my advisor. And so I'm going to kind of walk you through this lead generation process, some of the tactics that we use for lead generation, but be thinking of it from the mindset of what kind of marketing material could I create that resonates with my prospects' clients, and how do I position myself as the expert who knows how to guide my client through the challenges that they're having. That's the most resonant marketing message you can possibly create, whether it's on a phone call, an email, a Facebook post, it doesn't matter. If you can identify with their problems, show authority, an expert authority on how to overcome those problems, and then have a strong call to action, you will get people to do what you want them to do by positioning yourself that way. By the way, team, I welcome you to throw comments in while we're going here, or just pause, just come off mute and say, hey, Josh, that wasn't clear. So feel free to, interject and ask questions. All right. So the first thing we're going to jump into in terms of lead generation here is we're going to find ways to connect with your database. And we're going to talk about some strategies on Facebook and Instagram, boosted posts, which we're going to talk about to past clients, friends, spheres of influence. And we're going to show some examples of how we're showing evidence of a success or market update. So I'm going to show you like some real life things that I've been doing to generate leads for my past clients and my sphere of influence that you could swipe and deploy. And this is probably an opportune time for me to tell you, don't tune out and go, oh, this is too techie, I can't figure this out. On Thursday for your broker open house, Mike and Ben are going to be there, but also our entire marketing team will be there. And they will help you create some of this marketing and some of these messages. So this is a recent video that I boosted to all of my past clients, all of my prospects and leads, and I have another group that I've set up a custom audience that is my sphere of influence. So it's basically anybody who I would know. So a couple years ago, my kid joined a soccer team, and they gave us all the parents' phone numbers and emails. Well, you bet that got uploaded into my custom audience, right? So it's people that would know me and like me and trust me. I'm going to see if this video will play. Bear with me. This is where I pray for good technology. My prayers don't always get answered, by the way. There we go. Can you guys still see that, Jeff? Yep. Okay, cool. Hold on. I'll turn this over and start this.
For the video, but I don't think there's sound.
Yep. Got to turn it on right here. Bear with me one sec.
I thought you were jumping on Zoom, buddy.
Never had as much
You good on volume there, Mike? Can you hear that? Cool.
difficulty finding and getting their real estate offers accepted as they have in 2021. You see, the last 12 years, home builders have built woefully too few homes to keep up with the booming demographics of the millennials. This has created an incredible supply and demand imbalance that is causing a tremendous amount of stress and hardship on behalf of homebuyers trying to get their offers accepted. Neo Home Loans has created the Bulletproof Buyer Program, aimed to solve for these challenges and help homebuyers get their offers accepted above all others. The three problems that we aim to solve with the Bulletproof Buyer Program is, number one, the false conclusion or assumption that the real estate market is at a peak and it is imminently going to crash. That is absolutely not true if you really understand the demographic trends of the millennials and the supply imbalances because builders have built not enough homes. We carefully guide you through the data and make you understand why the market is moving the way it does and helping you feel more comfortable and confident to make an offer on your new home. The second thing that we want to educate you on is an appraisal gap strategy. You see, appraisals are inherently flawed in how they're created. An appraiser looks at past sales and typically will go back as far as 6 months to find comparable homes. The problem with that strategy in today's world is that the value of the home that the seller is setting is based on today's value. And there's a gap between today's value and the comparables that the appraiser has chosen over the previous 6 months. That gap oftentimes results in the appraised value being lower than the current value the seller's willing to sell for. So we've created an appraisal gap strategy to show you how to make those numbers work and still be able to buy your home if the appraisal comes in a little bit low. Third and final challenge we have to solve for in this market is that 25% of all offers across the country are currently cash. So if you're trying to achieve mortgage financing, you're competing with cash offers that can close in as little as a week. That is a very tough market to compete against. So we have 2 strategies to help you compete with cash offers. The first is our pre-underwriting program, where we have you go all the way through the underwriting program, get a full approval, and in many cases can close as quickly as cash with financing. The other solution is we have partnered with a company called Revive, who will buy the home on your behalf in cash in as little as 10 days. So you literally have a cash offer when you go to buy the home. Learn more about the Bulletproof Buyer Program by Neo Home Loans by clicking in the description below, reading our full article, and of course, if you have questions on any of these strategies and how we can help you, don't hesitate to reach out.
So team, that was obviously a long video, and there's a lot of editing and nuance in there. So don't think that's exactly the way that you have to roll when you're creating a video. But the point is, we want to talk about the problems that our clients are facing. And if you're going to think about doing lead generation, the first thing that I would be doing is talking about those challenges. So, right here, even in the description before somebody hits play, it says trouble understanding why the housing market is the way it is, appraisals coming in low, inability to compete with cash offers. So we're talking about their problems and then positioning ourselves as the expert authority who can help guide them through that. So you could create something very simply like this, and it doesn't have to be complex with editing or anything else. You can literally pull out your iPhone, film a little 30-second blurb around what are the challenges that you're seeing in the marketplace, how you're advising your clients to overcome those challenges, giving your clients an advantage in the market, also known as expert authority, and then a simple call to action. Message me if you're getting frustrated and burned out in this market and you want to employ some of the strategies that my clients have to successfully get their offers accepted at a much higher rate than the general public, right? Anything like that would resonate right now because there's so much friction on the buyers getting their offers accepted. Also, our team will be there at the broker open house this Thursday. So if you want to get mic'd up and have have somebody and film a video on a professional camera, they will do that for you this week as well. I want to share just a few other examples of or ways that you can mine with Facebook and Instagram to generate leads. And
hey, Josh, can I interject real quick?
Yeah, please do, bud.
So for those of you guys that are on the fence about this showing up Thursday or not, I would highly recommend you show up just to kind of experience the recording side with our marketing team. Josh's video right there, super polished, super great. I mean, you may not have eyebrows as perfect as his. He does that on the side. But our marketing team, I mean, I'm not a techie guy at all. They make you look good. They will definitely help you with this. You don't I would come and just check it out and take advantage of that and not be intimidated by the whole camera and all that stuff. They make us look good.
I just watched Mike's most recent video. It was shocking. He actually looked like, a regular human being, and it was pretty good. I mean, I was like, wow, if they can do that for Mike.
They didn't fix my lazy eye, but that's okay.
Our marketing team is talented. You guys are.
You have limits, man.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. You know, when you've been filming videos for 10 years, it just gets so normal and natural. It's like having a conversation with somebody, you know, with your best friend. But at first it's going to feel uncomfortable. And, you know, I think we all know the saying that progress and evolution lies just on the other side of where you're comfortable. So to Mike's point, whether you've done video before, I'd encourage you to come to the open house, film a simple video to your past clients saying hi, if nothing else. And, you know, if you want to deliver a script around how you're helping clients navigate this difficult market, I think that'd be super valuable too. But just getting the experience creating a video will help you long term, because I think that's the way to communicate of the future, in my opinion, in terms of marketing. Okay, so let's just keep going down this rabbit hole, if we will. I wanted to show you, like, okay, what if I don't have a big past client database? What if I haven't been intentional about creating a list, a sphere of influence? Well, you can get pretty creative with what Facebook does, and our team can help you with this. You can actually go in and just put in here that you want people that are interested in houses, property finder, first-time buyers, real estate, and you can start advertising to your past clients as well as a custom audience based on their interests inside of Facebook and Instagram. Another way you can do it is you can set an address and say, hey, I've got 2 houses for sale, or I'm running an open house this weekend, and I want to get a bunch of buyers to my open house. So I'm going to run a little video ad or a picture with some highlights about the house, and I'm going to try and move as many buyers to the house as humanly possible. And then when those buyers come in, I'm going to say, hey, Ben Buyer, do you know about the Bulletproof Buyer Program? Oh man, you know how hard it is to get your offer accepted? Let me introduce you to my lender who can tell you about the Bulletproof Buyer Program to make sure that your opportunity of getting a house goes through the roof. Something like that. So you can go demographically as well if you want to farm an area with your message. The other thing you can do is create all these custom audiences. So this is just an example of all the different custom audiences that we have. We have, thousands and thousands of different people in different audiences that we put commercials to. So, dentists, CRNA, doctors, website leads. We have all these different groups, and then we run marketing to them. So in other words, if you've got a list of prospects that you haven't converted, that could turn into a custom audience. If you have a list of past clients, that can turn into a custom audience. If you have a list of people in your church group, that can turn into a custom audience. And then what happens is, yeah.
Josh, let me just ask you a question about a custom audience. What information are you uploading for that custom? Is it just name? Is it email, phone number? What are you uploading?
Name, email, address, and phone number, or any combination thereof. So if you don't have all of it, like if you just have name and email, then maybe you'll get, of your database, maybe you'll get a 30% match. If you have name, email, and phone number, you get a 60% match. If you have name, email, phone number, and address, then maybe you get like a 90% match.
So Facebook is saying, hey, we have this name and we have this email together, and we're going to put this ad in front of them.
We have Jeff Marchant with this email address and this phone number in Draper, Utah. We know this is Jeff. And so you can serve up that message to Jeff without Jeff liking my business page, without Jeff going to my Facebook page. I'm paying Facebook to put any message I want to put in front and center in Jeff's Instagram and Jeff's Facebook page. So you can implant your marketing content right on Jeff's iPhone by boosting a post to Jeff and if he's in that custom audience.
I love it. I love it. And while we're right here, before you move on, in the chat, Sunny asked the question. I'll just read it. It says, I might be missing something, but because of fair housing, I thought we couldn't filter/target audiences. And my interpretation of that question is, I think, Sunny, you're thinking about that flip-flop. Fair housing has more to do with discrimination, which is exclusion. So targeting an audience like your avatar clients or your previous clients has nothing to do with discriminating, but you're handpicking, hey, these are my people. I want them to see my message. This is going to be relevant to their lives, right? Josh, how would you explain that any better?
No, I think you're spot on. The only thing I would add to that is Facebook did do some revisions to the way they let you target. It's become more difficult, and we've actually found it's become more fruitful for us, because when they tightened their guidelines and changed the way they did stuff, a lot of people said, oh, Facebook doesn't allow realtors and mortgage lenders to advertise on Facebook and Instagram anymore. You just have to know the tricks. And our marketing team absolutely knows the tricks and can help you get your ads boosted and posted to your database. Great.
Awesome.
Really good question.
I just want to reiterate what Mike was saying. Thursday at noon at my office, reach out to me if you don't have the address. Come and meet the team. Our broker is kind of doing a meet and greet with the team, but Ben's going to be there. Mike's going to be there. Like he said, their marketing team's going to be here. We'll give you a free headshot, which is kind of useful. But anyway, just another little plug for that event. Come meet you in person.
Yeah, I mean, you can meet and greet and mastermind, and you could walk out of there with a marketing post to your past clients for sure. Okay, so that's custom audiences. So let's move on to I just want to just quickly run through this. This is what our marketing team at Neo can help you do to improve your digital strategy and help you generate leads. So they can help you decide on what social media channels are best suited for achieving your marketing goals, and then help you create and grow those leads on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, or Twitter. So if you have, a desire to push any of those media, our team is experts in them and can help guide you. They can help you optimize your website and content to appear more often in Google searches. They can help you solicit more reviews on Google and Facebook. They can help you decide what platform you want to advertise on and then run ads on: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or Google, in the case that you actually want to pay to run ads to certain demographics or groups or past clients or leads. They can help you create landing pages for your advertising campaigns that encourage visitors to take action. They can help you set up and use Google Analytics to track visitors' behavior on your websites and leverage that and improve the client experience. And they can create video content tailored for your audience using Neo Home Loans' fully equipped production studio. So we also have a green room or production studio, which you can come in and film future videos if you'd like to after this Thursday's event. Okay, so I'm moving away from Facebook and Instagram kind of marketing. You've got a really good overview of what we can help you with there in terms of lead generation, and the marketing team will be to the broker open house on Thursday. The other thing I wanted to mention, and I've mentioned this before, but I think this is such a strong platform that I want to mention it again. So HomeBot team is a platform that provides your past clients or your database with a monthly real estate wealth digest. So each month, your past clients can receive a email notification that says, hey, open to see your monthly real estate wealth digest. And it's basically a financial statement for your home. It shows the estimated value of your home. It shows the amortization of your mortgage. It shows the amount of equity that you've grown. It shows your current interest rate. It shows what current market interest rates are, and it alerts you and creates a call to action if there's an ability to refinance. It shows you all kinds of things you can do with your equity. You could pull cash out. You could pay off debts. You could invest. It gives you, there's a sequence of calls to action to get buyers that might be interested in doing something with their home to click a button, request more information, and essentially turns into a lead generation platform for you. There's two different primary roles that HomeBot does, and then I'll pause and see if anybody has any experiences with HomeBot they want to share. The first one is to find out what your home is worth. So once you sign up for HomeBot, which you can partner with Mike or Ben, and you get a massive discount for partnering with them on the HomeBot platform. The first thing that you do is you can enroll your past clients to find out what their home is worth. This is a monthly real estate digest, as I mentioned, and you can upload your past client database, or you can just post this as a social media post. Hey, find out what your home value is worth. Enter your property address here, and it'll enroll them in HomeBot and kind of adopt them under your sphere, so they'll get that monthly wealth digest. The other thing, this is just kind of a few examples, by the way. It shows you kind of your home's estimated value, shows you what's going on in the zip code that you're in, shows them the amount of equity that they have. So basically the three things it does is it tracks your home's worth, it saves you money, it shows you the power of paying extra principal, plus shows you refinance option, and it helps you build wealth faster. So it gives you all kinds of information about the real estate market and what's going on in your area. And every call to action inside of that, by the way, when your clients open their HomeBot email, the HomeBot email, I should say, also has an 80% plus open rate. 80% plus open rate. Industry standards like 3%. So it is very interactive. And anytime somebody clicks something in there for more info, it sends you a notice to engage and to deal with your client. One other thing that HomeBot does to help you create leads is you can put people in there for a home search function. And again, the way we really use this is people go in to check the wealth inside their home, and then it prompts them to become a home buyer and to search for homes on the platform. And then it notifies me that one of my past clients is now searching for homes. But you can also use this as a lead generator. All right. So you can simply take this link that you get once you sign up for HomeBot. You can post that into your social media posts and say, hey, join the HomeBot home search platform. All the data and more that you get on Zillow, plus you won't get pestered and your information won't get sold to a million realtors and lenders. So it's a safe place for buyers to go and search homes, and you get all the analytics because you can log into HomeBot on the back end and see what your buyers are doing. Anybody have a experience with HomeBot that they would want to share?
I've got one.
Love it.
So it's maybe not the ideal one, but I think it speaks to the power of the platform for the clients. I closed a loan for a guy, I don't know, probably a few years ago, and he just recently texted me unsolicited. I wasn't reaching out to him for anything in particular right now, but he reached out by text to say that he had sold his home and bought another home with a different lender, but he really loved that HomeBot and all that information that they gave him. How do I get my new house onto HomeBot? I'm like, there's no shame in your game, right? But obviously, if you're willing to put yourself out like that, that tells me it has a real impact on these clients. So anyway, it's a little bit of a funny story.
That's a hilarious story. And I get a lot of clients through HomeBot that'll either say, hey, can you double check my home's value? I'm thinking about selling my home in the next 6 months. Or, hey, HomeBot alerted me that, my interest rate is 0.5% above what the market rate is today. Can you take a look at that? So it's really a post-closing engagement tool where we're not just reaching out saying, hey, Kathy, how are you? Are you interested in buying or selling real estate? No? Okay, thanks. Bye. Click, right? We want to reach out to Kathy and say, hey, Kathy, I want to give you something of value, which is a monthly wealth digest that's going to show you how much equity you've built in your home. And if you ever have any questions in real estate, just message me through the HomeBot app or give me a call. And it just reaffirms you're the person to go to every month for information on real estate. So HomeBot's a great lead generation tool. If you have a decent past client database or a decent sphere of influence, you will see a significant amount of communication from those past clients if you enroll them.
Hey,
All right, so
Tyler, Hey,
Go for
before
it.
you move on, Josh, just one more example. I see Tyler's on here. Tyler, can you share real briefly your experience with HomeBot right when you shared that with some people?
Yeah,
You mind doing
yeah.
that?
So I set up HomeBot. It's been a couple months ago now, but my whole goal with it was to initially just enroll all my friends and family, just because I thought it was such a valuable tool. It's kind of like what you said, Jeff. You went to your high school reunion, and most people didn't even know what equity was. So how do you have the conversation? Hey, if you pay an extra $100 a month, it'll pay your loan off this fast. Most people don't understand that. So I kind of just came in the mentality of, I'm just going to add everybody to this regardless, as long as I know they own a house, just because if not, hey, they can pay their house off in 10 years sooner, maybe. And it actually turned into a listing from somebody that I really didn't even plan on selling a house. I was more doing it just for a favor. So it's a really easy way to touch your friends and family without sounding salesy and trying to sell them something.
Yeah. Well said, Tyler. It just positions us as advisors and as someone consistently adding value to our sphere of influence and our past clients, as compared to somebody who just reaches out when they need a commission. And I think that's a strong delineation between how we show up. So I'm gonna move on to a tool that I think that it was just a kind of a funny correlation. The video that I showed you earlier was on the Bulletproof Buyer Program, but I think this is the major pain point in our industry right now. And so I look at this Bulletproof Buyer Program as both a lead generator in terms of talking about the problem that buyers are going through and positioning this as a solution, and also a conversion tool, because many of you are having challenges with buyers that can't get their offers accepted. And I think this strategy will give them a solid leg up. So before I get started, this was a headline yesterday that came out of, it was actually an article, I think, a report that came out of Fannie Mae. And then this was the headline for Mortgage News Daily that I read every day. And it says, home buying sentiment hits another low, even as incomes rise. So it says, while consumers' comfort with their financial situation appears to be improving because unemployment levels going down and incomes are going up, their pessimism about home buying is also growing. Fannie Mae says while its home purchase sentiment index did tick up by 1% in May to 80, the component reflecting responses about whether it is a good time to buy fell to a second consecutive all-time low. So home buyers are answering this survey to Fannie Mae. Hey, do you think it's a good time to buy? And buyers are saying, no, this is the second consecutive all-time low. Buyers are saying this is not a good time to buy. So I just included this chart over here. So the black line or the dark line is good time to buy. And you can see it's crashing to a -20. I don't know exactly what that means, but I don't think it's good. Buyers are not loving the current market environment. So what does that tell me? Marketing opportunity, marketing opportunity, marketing opportunity. This is the #1 problem in our industry right now, for buyers at least. And actually, this plays into solving a problem for sellers. So we should be screaming it at the top of our lungs in every marketing piece that we're doing. How do we position our buyers so that they can have a better experience than most buyers are having? All right. So what is the Bulletproof Buyer Program? For those of you who haven't heard the presentation on it, the Bulletproof Buyer Program is here to help you increase the chance of your buyer's successful purchase. It includes essentially 4 different components. The first part is a comprehensive upfront market analysis. So, and again, this is something that we do as a lender. You don't need to do anything to us other than say to your buyers, you need an unfair advantage. This market is insanely uber competitive. I've never seen anything like it. Let me introduce you to Ben. Let me introduce you to Mike. They're going to walk you through the Bulletproof Buyer Program, and they're going to position you so that you have literally an unfair advantage in the market. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to educate them on why the market is so crazy. We have a series of about 10 charts and graphs that shows that 2021 is the exact opposite of 2007. 2007, there was too much building, too much inventory, and poor demographics and loose lending. 2021, low inventory, not enough home construction for the last 13 years, strong demographics, and tight lending standards. So when we want to take the conjecture out of a buyer's opinion, whether they should buy or not, and when they get off the presentation with us, walking them through those slides, they should be like, I get it. This is why the market's crazy. It's going to continue to be crazy. I need to be more prepared than anybody else and get into the game. So that's the market analysis. And I did a whole hour-long presentation on that I'm sure Jeff has archived somewhere. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to run them through an appraisal gap strategy. I did another presentation on this. Actually, no, I'm sorry, Ben, you did the presentation on the appraisal gap strategy. And essentially, we're going to let clients know that the appraisal process is flawed. In a normal moving market, it works fine. An appraisal looks back between 3 to 6 months to find comparables, and that's how it uses those values of those previously sold homes. Today, the market's moving so fast that a home that sold in December, although eligible in an appraisal, is completely obsolete because the values are moving so fast. So when a seller lists their home, they're looking at current market data and forecasting forward. When an appraiser values a home, it's looking back between yesterday and 6 months ago. And the gap between those two periods of time is why appraisals come in low. So we want to educate buyers on that on the front end. And then we want to show them a strategy. What's going to happen? How are we going to pivot? What are our options if the appraisal comes in low? Can we get a loan from your IRA? Can we get a gift? Can we go from an 80% loan to a 90% loan, or from a 90% loan to a 97% loan? And if you have less down payment, then you have more money to put towards the appraisal gap between the appraised value and the purchase price. And we show clients, hey, this is what the market, this is what's happening in the market. Our appraisers are the best of the best, but if it comes in low, here's how we're going to get through it. So you're not surprised and you don't cancel your offer. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to fully underwrite these approvals. Now, these people need to be committed to us. They need to give us all their loan documents. We need to have a relationship with them. They need to be prepared to move forward with us. And we're going to put them through the full underwrite. So income, assets, credit, application, fully underwritten. The only thing we essentially need to close: appraisal, title, your disclosures, evidence of insurance, and then maybe an updated paycheck stub if it's been a while since they went through the underwriting process. But that enables us to close a loan in 3 weeks, no problem. You could feel comfortable removing loan contingencies once we've gone through the full underwriting. And hopefully we'd like to position you in a place where you can compete with cash offers in terms of speed. Last but not least on this is the ability to partner with Revive. And Revive is a company that we did another presentation on. There's a full hour on it. But Revive does two things. They will buy the new property in cash. And if your buyer has a home to sell, they will enable them up to 6 months to sell their home. But in the meantime, they can immediately move into the new house. So if they want to acquire the new home, move at their leisure, renovate or fix their old house to get maximum value, that's all things that that Revive can help with. And I'm just going to go over this real quickly because I've done a full presentation on this, but I see there are some new faces. So the Revive, through Revive's trade up program, they add value and most of all convenience in 3 ways. So they provide an all cash offer on your buyer's half. They buy the property in their name in cash. They allow flexibility for them to move into their new home before selling their old home. So now we don't have a contingent offer. Now we have a cash offer. And now the seller has time to sell their old home before they buy the new one. And then they act as a resource to provide expertise to sell the old home at top dollar and maximize sales value. What does that mean? Well, Revive actually will build a team that will stage a home.
that will finance repairs to the old home, and have other ways to help make sure they get maximum dollar out of the departing residents. Maybe the market's moving so fast right now, nobody needs to do that. But it's a pretty cool resource. If somebody has really beat the heck out of their home and they don't have the cash, they can provide financing to renovate the home. Here's just real quickly, and then I'm going to turn it over to Mike. This is my last slide. This is just real quickly the steps with Revive, team. The client finds their perfect home anywhere in the US. Revive buys it with an all cash offer. By the way, the realtor gets paid the same dollar amount. You don't lose any commission for using Revive. The client moves in and Revive rents the home to the buyer until you're ready to purchase. List and sell your old home. If necessary, renovate the home to maximize value. Again, you do that as the realtor. You represent Revive in the sale. And then finally, you buy your home from Revive. Now, you don't make another commission when they buy the home from Revive. There's only one buy side commission and one list side commission. But then once the buyer has sold their departing residence, they buy the new home from Revive, making the dream home officially your home. So I'll pause for a minute. Any questions on that, Jeff?
I don't have a question. I have a comment, just for clarification. In case it wasn't clear, you went through the process before getting fully underwritten. From my understanding, that's a critical component to this program with Revive. Knowing that you're fully underwritten, not just pre-approved, and we'll verify some things later. Doing it the way Josh described, I mean, it costs a lot of man hours. That's why Josh kind of said, hey, if they're committed to us, we're going to do this, because you're probably investing about $1,000 in man hours just to get them underwritten, right? But once they're fully underwritten, that's part of the qualification to be able to participate in this program and have Revive place a cash offer on your home, right?
Yeah, the way we're positioning this to clients is, if we have a good fit and we can tell that this client wants to work with us and we want to work with this client, we're going to offer to fully underwrite their file. And as you said, between the loan officer assistant, a processor, and an underwriter and the disclosure team, it's about $1,000 in investment in that client to go through that full underwriting process. This isn't a shortcut, it's a full underwrite. And so we'll do that. That's a precursor to being able to qualify for Revive. But let's say you go in and there's not multiple offers. Great. Then you're already underwritten. We'll just close you in 3 weeks, no problem. Or you go in, Jeff, and they go, oh my gosh, there's 17 offers and a cash offer. And the client says, I don't care what we have to do. I want this house. Then we go down the path of writing the offer as a cash offer from Revive. But either way, I reckon you got to go through that underwriting process.
And I may have missed this, but do we know what that cash offer is going to cost our clients? What are they going to pay in a fee for Revive to actually buy that?
3%.
3 point.
Yeah, we're negotiating right now with Revive discount, so it's 2.75 points. So you're paying 2.75 points to have the luxury of buying in cash and the luxury of selling your departing residence before you buy the new residence. So we want to avoid that if we can and just go with the pre-underwriting. But if we can't, and there's other cash offers, and your wife looks at you and says, Jeff, you better get me this house, then this is the way you create the cash offer and close in a couple weeks.
Well, that's a pretty cheap convenience fee too. If you're able to secure your home first and then sell your existing home, that's what's keeping a lot of people on the fence. They don't want to sell first and be homeless.
That's it. That's the problem that you solve. That's the convenience that you bring to the table. And the market's going up 1% a month. So you either buy in June at today's price and pay the 3%, or maybe you get a property in October, November, December when the market slows down a little bit, but the price is 6% higher. So I mean, there's upside to closing in June versus September.
So they still have to pay their 3% plus the 3% from Revival then.
The total cost is 3%. So like, let's say Revive bought the home for $100,000 in cash, they'd sell it to you for $103,000.
But the other 3% you're thinking of for the agent is already offered.
No, so they still have to pay their down payment. That's 3.5%. So they're only actually being charged $3,000.
Yeah.
So 100,000. Well,
on 100,000. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yes,
And I
that's
agree
right. And
with
there's more
Josh that,
and there's more details on this Revive program. We could talk for an hour on it. I would invite you to reach out to Ben and Mike and have them give you like a full rundown of the qualifications. But to me, this,
I like that info, dude.
yeah, thank you. Mike, I haven't given you enough time here, bud. You've got 12 minutes, so that gives you 30 seconds per slide. Are you feeling up for this? Have you got your running shoes on?
Yeah, I'm good. Probably the less open mic time I have, the better, quite honestly.
Just ask his wife.
The less freestyling I can do, the better. So, and yeah, we're gonna make this pretty quick. This is gonna be really, really high level. If any of you guys can turn on your cameras, that would be awesome. I saw that Mike just turned his on. For those of you that have never done Zoom, it sucks not being able to read, not present live and be able to see people's reactions, faces, engagement. So if any of you guys can turn on your cameras and get over that fear, that'd be great. And that kind of be a good segue into what we're going to talk about anyway. So we have studied extensively lead conversion. Like Josh says, we generate a lot of leads. We don't buy leads, and these aren't crappy leads. These are good leads. But even there, conversion is the key. So we've studied, extensively. When I started in this industry, thank you very much for those of you guys turning on your cameras. When I started in this industry, I started working with a company where most of my leads came through Lending Tree. So right off the bat, I was going against 4 or 5 other lenders before I even got out the gate. I mean, as soon as I get their information, they've already been given information 4 or 5 other lenders. So, conversion is, there's certain things that you need to be aware of that will help you be better at conversion. That is not you spinning your wheels and wasting your time just chasing dead leads, or just chasing leads that don't want to be contacted or have already gone somewhere else. So I don't know that I have control. Do I have control over the slide presentation?
I'm your control girl. You just let me know your control.
Thank you for cleaning that up too.
I'm Vanna.
I would have called you something else for sure. So a lot of this stuff, and keep in mind as I go through this, a lot of this stuff you guys are not going to be able to do. And that's where we want to help you with some of this. So we'll talk about that as we go through. But the first slide, speed to respond is crucial, because if you think about it, we all have a finite amount of time during the day to allocate to certain activities. And once that amount of time we have is spent, it's spent. We don't, no matter how much we want to do it, we don't have time to do, to allocate more to that activity. So the studies show that you are 100 times more likely to convert a lead if you contact them within the first 5 minutes of getting a lead. So just 5 minutes to 30 minutes. That is huge. If as soon as you get that lead, you've got to treat that 911. You get on it, you call them right away, because if you don't, and there's somebody else out there more hungry, even within a 30-minute time span, that will make or break whether you convert on that lead versus somebody else converting it. Because somebody else has talked to them, they've taken up that amount of time, and no matter how good you are, they're not going to have the time to allocate to hear you out or to even entertain your offer. When I used to do training in my old company, I'd tell people, look, when you get home from a long day at work, we all get the voicemail, hey, this is Jake with State Farm. I can save you this much on your insurance. You know what? He might be able to, but I don't have the time or energy to listen to him. I'm fine with the insurance I've got. I'm just going with it. So, whoever can be the first there to use that time, it's going to be critical in converting a lead. So if you look here, median response time is 3 hours and 8 minutes. And honestly, 47% of people never respond at all. So if you are there, you are calling first, you are right on it, treating it as a hot lead, regardless of the lead source, you are going to be 100 times more likely to convert your leads by just doing that one thing of being quick to respond. Let's go to the next slide, because time is ticking fast. Optimal number of calls. A lot of us are just disorganized. We're not organized at all. I made up that word for you, Josh, disorganized.
Thank you.
But it goes along with uncomfortability. But if you look here on this chart, as we go left to right, 1 call, 48%, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 calls is really kind of the sweet spot. You start getting diminishing returns. Once you start going past that, you're wasting your time, because really If they haven't answered by now, they want nothing to do with you. They've moved on. But that first call, maybe they're busy. Maybe they can't pick up. That second call, oh shoot, I really wanted him, but I'm busy. It's not a good time. You know, you start getting to that fifth call. Oh, geez, this guy's really persistent. I want to work with him. And by that sixth call, you know, they recognize your number. They know what it's about, and they're probably going to pick up if they're interested. Or after 6 calls, you just need to cut bait and, you know, move on to the next person. So another kind of number to keep in the back of your head is if you're not making 6 calls on every lead you get, you might feel you're bugging them. You might feel you're harassing them, but you know what? It's our job. It's what we get paid to do, is to talk to people, to get a hold of people. And so the next slide is going to go what I used to talk to people about. When I used to train loan officers, they were making a phone call to check a box, to say, I made that phone call, and it would count as an attempt. They weren't really doing it with the intent of getting a hold of the person. You know, they were doing it to check off a task and move on to the next one, which is great. I mean, they're doing it and they always wonder, well, how come I'm not converting more? I've got this many calls, I've got this, but they weren't really, they were hoping that they would get voicemail. So they didn't actually have to talk to the person. And I've been there. I'm like, oh, I hope this person doesn't pick up. I just want to leave them a voicemail and I just want to move on. And obviously that's a wrong mindset. You should be calling with the intent of getting a hold of someone. So this slide right here shows you these are the most optimal times you should be calling people before they, and it's not rocket science, it's before work, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock. It's after work, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. They're coming home from work. They haven't settled into dinner yet. They haven't settled into the kids yet. You know, that's your ideal window, 4 to 5, 8 to 9. They're done with the gym. If they're Josh, they're 3/4 way done with their day by now at 8 to 9. But, you know, and then the days of the week. Monday, everyone's way too busy. If you're trying to call people on Monday or a Tuesday, they're not going to have a lot of time to allocate to pick up. Wednesday, Thursday, hey, we're kind of over the hustle. We're getting prepared for the weekend, but we're not checked out yet. Wednesday, Thursdays are great. Friday, if you're calling them, last thing on their mind is that they want to talk about. They just want to get out of work, want to get on with their life. So you'll look at these numbers right here. This is when you should be calling people. We at our company have always set up 8 to 10 in the morning is prospecting. We don't take calls unless we have to. We try to, you know, block emails and other stuff, kind of keep that out of our site, out of our mind, and just dedicate 8 to 10. We're going to prospect. We're going to get through it. We're going to plow through it, get a hold of people we need to get a hold of. And if you make that a practice and just a way of you doing things, you're going to be a lot more, you know, productive on getting a hold of people. Next slide.
Mike,
what do we got next, Josh?
Mike, just a quick question. Or Ben, in a normal 8 to 10 session, ballpark, how many calls, emails, and text messages you're sending out proactively to clients that could potentially, you know, be business generated for you? Ballpark,
Okay.
how many in that 2-hour session?
Ben? You're muted, buddy.
We'll send a millennial right over.
There you go. In that window, probably is half the day, 20, 25, something like that.
Yeah.
I would say anywhere between 20 to 50, honestly, between emails that I'm responding, you know, that I'm proactively going after, you know, the text messages through our client relationship manager app, or, you know, stuff that's come in over the weekend that I'm just responding to. But yeah, anywhere between 20 and 50 attempts.
My point is, if you start even 2 days a week, Wednesday and Thursday, with 25 outreaches or 50 outreaches, you're going to generate a lot of response and a lot of client connectivity and opportunities for sales. If you don't have, you know, designated time for that, then, you know, you're going to generate less opportunities. And if you don't have time for it because you're out on properties, turn those leads over to Ben and Mike and let them apply what they're teaching you, and let them prospect your buyer leads during those times, because that's all they do. They're animals.
Yeah, I mean, let us be your beast of burden. I'm not afraid to be ridden like a rented mule. You know, Ben and I, we both used to work at the same place. We know what it's like to make phone calls. We're not shy about making phone calls. Our client relationship manager is amazing to keep us organized and keep us on task, so that stuff doesn't slip through the cracks. So your client, you don't send us a lead that's just going to kind of be on a sticky note or posted somewhere and go by the wayside. We're going to follow up on it. We're going to follow this principle of reaching out to people until basically they say, look, I'm tapping out. I'm not interested. like, great, thanks. That's all I wanted to know is yes or no, and we can move on. But we're going to push that. Really quickly, 2 minutes left. What a good looking guy. That's an awesome picture. I actually had to send him a selfie today for that. Had to ask my kids, how do I do a selfie? But humanize the experience, guys. We have to humanize this experience. And I think that's really where I have excelled over the years, is really just getting personal with people, not being afraid to ask the extra question. When somebody gives me an email address, and it's a goofy email address, I'm going to ask them, what's the origin of that email address? You know, the classic story, the lady's email address was monkey pants, I don't know what. So I'm like, monkey pants, like, I've got to know, like, what is monkey? You know, every other loan officer in my position would just type that in. Oh, I'm not going to ask what monkey pants is, or kind of move past it. Oh, hell no. I'm inquiring minds want to know what's monkey pants. And, you know, she told me it was a nickname she had for whatever. Bottom line, end of the day, that transaction went not south, but they were coming down to the wire. They had to bring a little more to closing because of some closing costs. And I'm like, look, monkey pants, if we can do this. And I started using that again. They came off the leg. They were fine. We were good. Everything was good. They were great. They were happy they closed. It was because we had that relationship, because I asked that extra question. So part of humanizing this experience is every single lead I get, once I've talked to them on the phone the first time, I'm going to just pick up my phone immediately. And we have shown you guys before how to get shortcuts on your phone, and our marketing team can help you with that as well. I'll push a little shortcut on my phone. It pulls up a prompt. I type in their phone number. It pulls up a camera, and I just start recording. Hey, Josh, it was great talking to you today. I'm really looking forward to helping you out with this next purchase. I'm going to text you my contact card. I want you to save that to your phone in case you ever need me. Even if it's, you know, while you're drinking wine again after work, that's great. You can call me anytime. I'd love to chat with you. I'm also going to send you this email, and I just kind of go into that. I take something from our conversation that we had, I bring it up in the video text, and then as soon as I had done recording that text, the shortcut will prompt me to then attach my business card, and it goes out to them. So literally, I push an app on my phone, record the video, it sends all of that to them. You would be amazed how many responses I get back. Thank you so much. Oh, it's great meeting you, whatever it is. I work out of state. I work in 13 different states. So I'm like, look, I just like to break down the barriers, let you know who I am. Sorry, I'm not Mike Jones, the rapper, but this is the best you're going to get. You know, but I am sending you my contact card. You know, little things like that, just really break it down, make it an interaction with them, and really humanize the experience.
Mike, I'm just going to go to this last slide so that we can pass off our compliance check.
There you go.
Okay, good. Now
I'll let you wrap up, Josh.
Oh, cool. That was great, man. So, Thursday, that app that you were talking about, or the shortcut to send videos, I know Colin could help people out if anybody wanted to be able to send videos really easily from their home or from their phone with a shortcut. And yeah, thanks. I hope that was helpful. This was really just to tee up and show you what's possible. And Ben and Mike and our marketing team will be there Thursday and hopefully answer any of the questions.
Great stuff, guys. Anybody that hasn't chimed in, have a comment or a question before we wrap up? I want to give everybody an opportunity. Cool. I guess you nailed it.
Cool, guys. Well, thank you for coming to the training. Sure appreciate you. Hope everybody enjoys the open house. And please reach out to us if we can do anything to serve you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks.
Great
Appreciate you
training.
guys. See you Thursday, and reach out to me if any of the previous trainings Josh has mentioned, you don't know where to find that, or if you're not on our team yet, reach out to me. We'll get those to you.
Hey, I put a link to that appraisal gap presentation in the chat box. And if anybody wants to call me direct or have a client go through it with me, that's all good. It's a little of an eye chart if you just click on it and without guidance. So feel free to reach out.
Thanks, Ben.
Thanks, Ben. See you guys.
Have a great night, everybody.
You guys are awesome.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Go Jazz.